Products are shown for demonstration purposes only. The AHA does not endorse or recommend any specific manufacturer or product. In order to show skills clearly, the healthcare providers in this video do not always use recommended personal protective equipment, such as gloves. The following information represents American Heart Association guidelines and best practices for measuring and improving the basic life support skills of the teams you work with. One of the measures of a high-performance team is the ability to achieve specific performance metrics and a high chest compression fraction, or CCF. CCF is the amount of time spent doing high-quality chest compressions during a cardiac arrest event. You can only achieve a high CCF by eliminating pauses during high-quality CPR. The Resuscitation Outcomes Consortium, or ROC trials, showed that a 10% increase in CCF is roughly equal to an 11% increase in survival. Pauses typically occur during intubation, rhythm analysis, pulse checks, compressor switches, and defibrillation. We'll address some best practices for eliminating pauses in some of these areas, but you'll also need to measure high-quality CPR metrics at your own place of practice to identify other areas where pauses exist. You cannot improve what you do not measure. Whenever compressions are paused, compressors should hover over the chest and be prepared to resume compressions. 15 seconds before pausing compressions at the end of each 2-minute cycle, high-performance teams should check for a pulse as a placeholder, pre-charge the defibrillator, and be prepared to deliver a shock in 10 seconds or less.
145.
Okay, let's go ahead and charge up.
Charging.
Do we have good pulses with CPR?
Good femoral pulses with CPR still.
All right.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 minutes.
Okay, let's stop CPR.
No femoral pulses without CPR.
Okay, that's a shockable rhythm. Shock,
Shocking. Shock delivered.
CPR.
Starting 2
Okay.
minutes.
Switch compressors, with the second compressor coming in from behind the first. This allows the second compressor to have the same view of the team, and in particular, of the AED or defibrillator. For seamless transitions, switching between cycles every 2 minutes is best. However, if a compressor needs to switch because of fatigue, coordinate the switch to happen as fluidly as possible, such as while delivering breaths.
3, 2, 1, switch.
It's a best practice to use real-time feedback devices during CPR. However, if a feedback device isn't available, a metronome can help establish the proper rate. If your AED or defibrillator doesn't have a metronome, you can download a metronome app to your mobile device before the conclusion of this course. Another element of high-performance teams is effective team dynamics. Team dynamics can be broken down into 3 categories: roles, what to communicate, and how to communicate. Clear roles and responsibilities should be immediately established by the team leader or the first rescuer on the scene. When all team members know their roles and responsibilities during a resuscitation attempt, the team functions smoothly.
I'll be on airway. Can you hand me a BVM?
Yep.
Every member of the team should know his or her limitations. Team members should ask for assistance and advice early, not when the situation deteriorates.
I'm getting pretty tired during these compressions. I'm gonna need some help after this.
Sometimes a team member or team leader may need to correct actions that are incorrect or inappropriate. It's important to be tactful, especially if you need to correct a colleague before they make a mistake.
And now you're too fast. Target heart rate is 110.
The next category is what to communicate. Knowledge sharing and summarizing information are critical components of effective team performance. Team leaders should review what's happened and ask for ideas and observations from team members.
Can you give me a recap, Nick?
Yes, we've been doing CPR for about 4.5 minutes. We've got 1 shock, 2 no shocks, and you've given 1 dose of Epi IV.
Okay. So anybody have any ideas on what else we can try with this patient?
Finally, how to communicate. Closed-loop communication is the process of verifying that the message sent was received as intended. It also verifies that any assigned tasks have been completed.
So Scott, why don't you give 1 milligram of epinephrine?
1 milligram of epinephrine IV.
In addition to using closed-loop communication, teams should use clear messaging. Concise, clear language helps prevent misunderstandings. Teams that work together frequently can create terms or phrases that have specific meaning for them to ensure clarity among members.
145.
Okay, let's go ahead and charge up.
Charging.
Do we have good pulses with CPR?
Good femoral pulses with CPR still.
Finally, teams need to communicate with respect. Speak to each other in a professional manner, regardless of scope of practice or expertise. Resuscitation events are stressful and emotions can run high. Understand that this is the nature of CPR, and remember the life you're trying to save. It's not enough to know what to do, or even how to do it. To obtain the best results, your team must perform both the what and the how flawlessly. That requires practice, and effective practice requires measurement. But measurement is only effective if you debrief the team, set goals to improve, and practice more. Remember, you cannot improve what you do not measure. For more information on how your team can implement this type of program, please ask your instructor for more information.